So you've heard about mixed voice, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Maybe you want to stop yelling, or you think your higher register is too breathy. You might want to free up your mixed voice. Hello everyone, and welcome to The Voice Mood. I'm your host, Olivia Peck, your local millennial voice teacher. Today, we're going to be talking about mixed voice, and I think this is a great way to start learning how to find your mix, finding songs that will help you do that. I have a whole list of songs, but we're going to do a few things today. We're going to do a quick recap of what mixed voice is. We'll go over what types of songs are great for finding your mix, what to avoid, and then I will give you tons of examples. I'll even put some in my own voice, talk about some of the pitfalls, and then we're going to end on some tips, okay? Just a whole list of tips. It's going to be great. I'm really excited. Firstly, a little reminder on what exactly mixed voice helps with. High notes, belting, clarity. Maybe you have too much breathiness up top. Transitioning between registers. Some people call it a break or a passaggio. Really quick reminder, what is mixed voice? I really like the simple definition that I heard from Emily Kristen Morris. She apparently heard it from someone else, and I don't know who that person is. Red would be chest voice, blue would be head voice, and then purple would be a mix between the two. And to give you a quick example, chest voice would be, hey. Head voice would be, hey. Purple would be, hey. Somewhere kind of in the middle, hey. A lot of people describe creating mixed voice by coordinating head voice and chest voice to happen at the same time. So it's not super open sounding necessarily. It's not super heavy sounding. It's something in the middle. Mixed voice is similar to speaking because the larynx is relaxed, the soft palate isn't super lifted, and that is sort of an oversimplification. But if you're looking for some more technical guidance, that's the quick and dirty way to describe it. If I were to sing, all of me loves all of you, I'll do that in chest, mix, and head voice so you can hear the difference. So chest voice would be, all of me loves all of you. Head voice would be, all of me loves all of you. And then mixed voice would be, all of me loves all of you. All of me, all of me, all of me. Let's jump to what types of songs are helpful for finding your mixed voice. Here's the type of styles that really lend themselves to finding that mix. Speaky styles, so country music, Disney songs, pop music, musical theater, emo. I don't know if emo is really a genre. I feel like I talk about it a lot. Maybe it's just my era as a millennial. I feel like saying it's an era that's a millennial era is overstepping because I'm pretty sure it's just been called different things throughout time. Microphone singing in general encompasses all of this stuff because we use the microphone to project our voice. And in more classical singing where we don't have a microphone, it's a little bit more important to have a fuller, even louder sound, and it's much less common to hear that mixy quality, although it's not absent in classical singing and opera. It's just not typically the example I would use to describe a lot of mixed voice singing. Twang, okay? Wow, wow. It's that light, whiny sensation. A lot of people describe as like feeling it back here, and like when you go like, hey. There are two types of twang: nasal twang, and oral twang. There's this great video by Matt Edwards on the misconceptions of belting, and that was the first time I had actually heard someone talk about oral twang versus nasal twang, and now it's just part of my teaching. Two important key elements. It's easier to tap into this mixed voice in your middle to high range or at a speaking volume. For mixed voice specifically, it's going to be accessed at a speaking volume to start. Loudness is relative. You have to think about relating it to how loud your voice normally is. If you have a super loud speaking voice, then to say, oh, your mixed voice is not that loud, well, that might not be true for you if you have always just had a naturally loud speaking voice, then your mixed voice might be louder than mine. My voice is not super duper loud, so my mixed voice is gonna be accessed easily at my voice level. That's another thing that Matt Edwards talks about in his video. I have a whole playlist on finding your voice and understanding your voice, and I was very much inspired by Matt Edwards to make a whole playlist about light, medium, heavy voices and speaking voice and just finding your voice in general. It all ties in, okay? Really quickly, let's talk about what to avoid when you're trying to access that precious, gentle mixed voice. Being too influenced by heavy voices. If you're going to sing a song, I would avoid songs by Adele, Teddy Swims, Lady Gaga, Queen. There are exceptions. Typically, listening to these voices would make you want to sing louder than you would naturally and push a little bit more, maybe try to manufacture some grit that isn't there. It's not like across the board, never sing Adele songs or something. It's just that when you're trying to find your mix, I wouldn't recommend starting with a Teddy Swim song or starting with a Freddie Mercury song. It's already difficult to take your foot off the gas a little bit when you're singing and to sing gently, because we all kind of want to sing really loud and with a lot of passion. And so it doesn't help when you're singing a song by someone who's really going hard, or at least sounds like that to us. Hope that makes sense. I would also avoid extreme singing, like screaming, growling, compression, anything that's a vocal effect that you're learning on top of trying to access that mixed voice. I like to find mixed voice first and then add sort of like a whispery effect if you can safely after finding your placement or finding that free, gentle, natural mix sound. Sometimes if you jump to screaming before you find a mixed voice, it's just going to make things a little bit harder for you. Again, this is just what I recommend based on my experience. There is going to be exceptions to the rule. Another thing I would avoid is singing a song that's a reach for you. So if it's really high or really low, you're already trying to navigate just hitting the notes. You want to pick a song that feels mostly pretty comfortable and in your range, so you can focus more on the type of singing you're doing as opposed to just being able to hit the notes. With that being said, I would pick a fresh song, a song that you learn for the purpose of mixed voice, so you don't bring in any bad habits or baggage from songs that you've tried to like shout out from the past. It can be really hard to break singing habits. They're motor memories, so they're literally like ingrained in us, just like driving a car. It's very hard to undo that sort of thing. It is possible, but it takes some time. Lastly, you want to avoid using too much nasality and too much volume. This is a gentle singing style, contrary to what you might think. And so anytime you add too much volume or too much of that nasality, it's going to hinder the flexibility and freedom of that mixed voice. All right, I'm going to give you tons of examples, but I do want to let you know that there's so much more to all of this. And if you want just to get your feet wet, I do have a video that's mixed voice magic. It's really gentle. It's an introduction to the types of sounds you're going to be making with mixed voice. It's really slow from your lower range to your higher range. I would start with something like that. There's so many warm-ups out there. I wanted to create something a little bit different and possibly a little easier to follow. It's in like a song form. At the end of this video, I'll definitely link my whole mixed voice playlist. I create every single video with y'all in mind. You are like my students. If you are a student of mine, I always appreciate your suggestions. So if you want to join the party, maybe hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the live streams where I answer questions from the week from the comments. I do a little Q&A. I love a Q&A. We have fun, don't we? We have fun. Okay, this is gonna be fun. So we're gonna talk about specific songs to help finding your mix, and we're gonna start with lower songs and get up to higher songs. So for our male presenting voices, we're gonna start with any country song is going to typically have that twang in it. Here's James Taylor, Carolina on My Mind. These three songs I'm going to talk about here are great for baritones, maybe even bass singers. You know, sunshine. If you notice, I'm considering vowels here, like Carolina on my mind, mind, thinking out loud. Honey, now There's that sound again. And the thing I love about Ed Sheeran for finding your mix is his singing voice is very speaky sounding, right? That's great for finding your mix, just keeping it nice and gentle. All of Me is great for baritone and tenors alike. I like John Legend because his songs aren't usually too crazy high. They're in that range for helping find your mix. Usually when songs are super duper high, it's kind of hard to access that typically. Focus on all of me. Those brighter vowels, putting a little smile on your cheeks when you do it. All of me, me, as opposed to all of me. You know, you don't want to shout it. Oh, Lord. So when I first started teaching, okay, this song brings back a lot of memories, and my students from when I first started teaching voice lessons remember this song because I used to give this to all male presenting singers, and they were like, "I hated that song." It is a great song for tenors to learn because it kind of covers a great range. I do think it is a good song for finding your mix. Santa Fe, my old friend. That da da is great because you're relaxing the larynx on that low note, sa, and then you're kind of making that leap. It's a strategy. It's a strategy, okay? And we're getting into the musical theater genre. Speaking of musical theater, there's Waving Through a Window, Dear Evan Hansen. This one's great. You'll notice there's a lightness to Ben Platt's voice that he uses a lot, using that head voice side. In the last song we talked about Santa Fe, we went from chest voice Santa Fe into mix, but for waving through a window, that's going more from head voice into mix. Sort of the opposite approach, and that might work better for you. These songs provide different strategies just because of how they're written. Something corporate or Death Cab for Cutie here would be great because those more speaky sounds. I will follow you into the dark. Okay, now we're getting into two songs that altos could sing. So if you're a lower presenting female voice, these quote unquote tenor songs or higher male presenting voice songs, these songs could potentially work for you as well to find your mix. You might find them very easy to do in your range, like Bruno Mars songs. The vowels in this song, just the way, are nice and as we were talking about before. I just need to include this song. This whole album is very speaky. Role Model's voice, it's very speaky, and it has an element of twang in it. Coming around, don't disappear when the wine runs out. Again, wine runs out. Wine. The vowels are important. I think of these things. Now we're getting into full-blown alto territory, but again, some tenors might be able to swing a song like Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. She's got that clear, well, I've been afraid of changing, but I build my life. This is an example of twang, but maybe a little nasal twang that works. With those longer held notes, nasal twang can be really great. Children get older. I would say though that her voice is a little bit heavier. Sometimes it has that like smoky quality to it. So you just want to make sure you're not imitating that part of her voice. You're sticking to your true voice. Okay, Stay by Rihanna. And hey, it's a duet too. I always forget it's a duet. This one is great, particularly for the range as well. I want you to stay. And that A is good. And it kind of slides up. Stay. Hey, I want you to stay. This song is a little bit more challenging. Rihanna does beef it up a little bit towards the end. But again, if you can stay true to your voice and you can just leverage those a vowels and kind of leverage the range it's in, then it might be a great song for you. Oh my gosh, another one just great. Dolly Parton's Jolene. That nice slide. Jolene. If you could kind of take a page out of Dolly's book there, she keeps things bright and open. You can actually see her smiling a little bit throughout the whole song, which really helps give her that clear mixed voice sound. Even though the song is sad and a little disturbing, there really is a little smile on her face almost the entire time, and it shows up in her voice. Okay, I love this song, but y'all, when I tell you this song is so hard for me. Oh, I wish there was a right way, yeah, a hard place. I'm trying so hard not to push, but for the longest time, I would push on this song because it's just low enough that I could almost put it in my chest voice, but not really. So I would be like, I'm caught between, hear how it's strained? So you really want to lighten up. What if nothing ever will change? Instead of what if nothing ever, I can do it, but it hurts. Oh, I wish, instead of oh, I wish there was a right way, yeah. Instead of way, yeah. I could do that, but it sounds so much better when I keep it nice and light and flexible. It makes those little runs easier to do. That dream I'm dreaming. This is another one that vowel is so good for finding your mix. You just don't want to push. It's very easy to go, it's the clock, it's very easy to do that, but just speak it. You can see my sweatpants. It's a climb, yeah. I'm barely singing, like I'm really keeping it light. Driver's license. This song is specifically great for the I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one. Way for no one. This was the song that I found my mix on, Love is an Open Door, and it was specifically the part that I was able to access that mix super easily. That's just me, but any Disney song, speaking of Disney, Princess and the Frog. I find this song great for kids and adults, especially kids who have maybe lower voices, because it doesn't hang out in a super high range. And when it does go into that mixy zone, it kind of slows down to get the end. Almost there. Okay, it's time for some quick and dirty tips for mixed voice to help you on this journey. One of the first things I always tell my students is don't overdo the mixed voice practicing. It's something that you want to do in little chunks, maybe for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. As soon as you start to feel tired or that you're pushing, just stop, give it a rest, and wait to practice when your voice has recovered a little bit. Singing, it's a muscular activity. Our muscles do get tired, and typically when we're learning mixed voice for the first time, we're not going to do it perfectly right away. So we might be straining a little bit before we nail it. You want to give yourself a little bit of time and grace to recover. Mixed voice really doesn't function very well when our vocal folds are swollen, so it's just going to make the problem more difficult if we don't let them recover. A big thing I recommend is speaking before you sing. What if my larynx started to crawl up and I was getting too excited and I was pushing a little bit? What if nothing ever will? Speak it. What if nothing ever will change? Okay, sing it like that. What if nothing ever will change? Try to keep that same baseline intensity as when you speak instead of pushing more. That'll help you get in the mixed voice mindset. You want to have warm-ups or noises even that work for you. I was just recording with a friend the other day, and before I sang, I was doing some voices, and I just do that because it helps me get in my mix. Some singers, you'll hear them go like, ah, or ah. If you watch Chris Lipe videos, you'll see him do all kinds of noises. It is really valuable to find noises, animal noises, or different things I've talked about maybe that resonate with you, that you're like, oh yeah, that noise helps me get in my mix, or that warm up helps me. I feel free, it's tension free for me, and I'm able to kind of switch into mixed voice when I do that. When you find stuff like that, you want to use it. Get in the habit of using it so that it builds on that muscle memory. Feel secure in the notes. So if you're still not sure what the notes are and you're trying to find the notes while you're singing, if you can't think of what the next note is and you're kind of piggybacking backing off of what the artist is doing that you're listening to, it's hard to focus on your technique while you're still doing that. Get to know the song pretty well, listen to it a bunch of times, hum along with it. Make sure you can really predict every single note and you're pretty solid about almost every note before trying out mixed voice on top of that. It just frees up that brain space so you're not trying to focus on both at the same time. Avoid adding too much style. Your style, your unique style will come out once you get comfortable with singing in a very boring, plain Jane way. For instance, when I do sing, "But if nothing ever will change," I want to sing that very boring at first. What if nothing ever will change? And you'll hear I'm not doing anything special. I'm just trying to stay in that speaky, mixed voice, light, gentle zone without adding "but if nothing." As soon as I started to add this manufactured style, I started to slip into a pushed zone. The more I get used to, "I will change," naturally my vibrato starts to come out a little bit. I start to settle into some stylistic choices naturally because of the emotion of the word. I'm caught between your love and a hard place. You just will begin to navigate expression after you're really comfortable with the what we call the placement. Sort of going along with that, anytime you're listening to a singer sing in mixed voice like I just was, it might sound like I'm singing louder than I actually am. This is all thanks to the microphone. This style of singing is possible because of a microphone. Michael Jackson's voice, when he sang without a microphone, it wasn't super duper loud. Anytime you're getting to hear that voice by itself in a microphone, it's gonna sound more amplified. It might sound very weak or gentle. It should feel kind of like nothing. Sound may be quiet to you. It should be at that speaking volume level, whatever that means to you. Maybe slightly louder, but really not by much. I think that's all I got for you. This can be some challenging stuff, so if you want to take a voice lesson with me, go ahead and head over to oliviapeck.com and you can sign up for a lesson. I do have room right now, but you know, if you subscribe, you're gonna get more videos from me. When you like this video, it is a free way to help my channel, so thank you so much if you did. It helps the algorithm a lot. The algorithm. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Let us know how your singing journey is going. All right, as Lester Holt says, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye! If you would like more help on mixed voice, I have a whole mixed voice playlist linked here if you want to check that out next with more exercises to actually access that part of your voice. Good luck!